Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. The problem with the black man should commit to black women discussion. Yeah, y'all, let's get into this, right? Because this is something that was brought up during that infamous Dr. Umar discussion panel, whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's also something that's consistently being brought up. And is that the argument is that black men should be totally loyal to black women and should compete only to black women, right? And as a means of disclosure, I don't have a problem with that argument. In light of the social political climate that we live in, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Especially in light of that young man being killed over in Greece for basically just being seen with a white woman, right? Okay, very strong argument, right? And the argument itself, the discussion itself is valid. Now, whether someone agrees with it personally, that's up to them. But it's a legitimate discussion. And that's all it has to be. I don't believe it should be a commandment, right? Like I said, I'm saying I don't have a problem with that discussion. But at the same time, I would advocate that any male or female go with the person who is best suited to them, regardless of that person's background. Now, I've done a couple videos where I'm more or less clown swirlers, but I'm like, whatever. Be honest. If they find somebody of another race that makes them happy, legitimately, even if they down in some brothers in the process, I'm like, hey, more power to you. More power, as long as you ain't in my face. That's all I ask. And as long as you don't try to physically harm me or something, you can do it. I ain't really tripping off of that because it's not me. And only way I would even care is if for the woman part, if you're a woman I wanted, and even then you could be the type of woman who would get with the most pro-black, mandingo looking, blackety black type of brother. And if it wasn't me and I wanted you, I'm still gonna have some issue. I'm still gonna feel some type of way. So ultimately I don't care, right? Now, the discussion itself, like I said, it ain't a bad thing. But here's the problem in the discussion. Here's the problem. And this is something I never hear the proponents of this discussion, be it someone like Dr. Umar or anyone else who makes the discussion. Right? Here's the problem. This is what I never hear. We never hear about the woman's part in all of this. And asking why wouldn't a brother commit to a black woman? Now, I'm not going to get into, all the other things that are thrown out, which is, how a black woman's behaving or any ratchet women. Because, I don't, there's all women aren't ratchet or whatever. But the thing that's never discussed is the brothers, the black men. There's plenty of black men who want to commit to women, to black women. In fact, I have in my travels, I've encountered hundreds of black men who are so committed to black women that they would rather spend their time alone than deal with women of another race. And these are in conversations in private where they weren't trying to impress some sisters in the room. Because I would bring up interracial dating with some of these guys who didn't have a woman in their lives, and they look at me like I was crazy. Even admonish me, right? That's my word to trip over today, y'all. All right? And I respect them for it. They were like, nah, I gotta have a sister. I gotta have a sister. I've known plenty. They having all the trouble in the world with sisters, but they still want a sister. Right? They want to commit to a sister. The thing that's not being discussed is not how the sisters are, being any type of way like ratchet or anything. The thing that's not being discussed is while the brothers are being told they have to commit to the sisters, the same sisters that they would probably have to commit to, the same pool of sisters, are constantly rejecting these men. Let's just keep it 100. See, that's why the conversation is bullshit. And these supposedly intelligent scholars and all of that, but I'm like, well, dude, where the fuck you grew up? I mean, you could just go on social media. What are these brothers saying? They saying it in my comments. I've heard it privately. They say it in forums. These brothers are saying, what are they saying? They want a sister, but the sister are telling them they're too short. Recently on one of my comments, a dude that's about the same height as me, about 5'10", I say I'm 5'11", but shit, 5'10" and 5'11" and 6 feet really ain't that much of a difference. It depends on how pointy your head is. So about my height was told he was too short by some black women. Too short? How many brothers have heard that? Any brothers that ain't like conspicuously 6 feet have heard that? None of these guys are talking about that. None of these guys saying the black man should commit to the black woman and trying to call those black men who don't all types of names. They ain't saying, well, hold up, maybe the sisters ain't trying to commit to them, telling them they too short, or they not thug enough, or they don't have enough swag, or they lame, or they don't have their shit together. Never mind these same men. Are family orientated, want to be married. Never mind these men have either an apartment or a condo in a good area or a house. Never mind these men have businesses. Never mind these men in any other civilized community would be considered catchers. Nobody is calling these women out on this shit. Maybe it's the women, yo. See, a man cannot commit to a woman who does not want to commit to that man. He can want her all he wants. But see, the men, you get some leaders, and I'm putting quotations among leaders, because how the fuck are you a leader but you don't know what the people who you leading really want? You ain't leaders anyway. You fucking spokesmen. And I say this for every one of you. If you don't know what the people you supposed to be leading really going through, that could be another video. You ain't a leader. You somebody trying to line your motherfucking pockets. And that's for anybody. If you got a problem with it, hey, I'm right here. Because if you cannot articulate the statements of the people or the men or women you supposed to be leading, all of them, then you're not a leader. And yeah, that can be another one. Yeah, I'm right here. Because a leader is ultimately a servant. Yeah, that's my little tangent for this. But getting back to it, that the part in that discussion is never talked about how these women reject these men. And these women will, reject them not even for character issues. Not even because I could see if the women were saying, well, you know what, this is an evil man. I could see that. I could see if a woman say, you know what, I got to talk with him. That guy who would beat children. This guy who would cheat on me, who would physically abuse me. I never hear that. Oh, he too short, even though he like 5'10", which is like above average in this country. Or he corny. Or he too much in the books. Or he talking about some serious matters when I want to talk about one of these reality shows. Yeah, and I've heard women say that. But then these same men are being rejected by these women, but then somebody act like it's the man's problem that they not committing to the women. Maybe they do, but the women don't want them. See, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that rejection piece. In fact, one of the first video that I had that really got big, because I was already on YouTube, but I was just, piddling. I was just out here. The first video that really people got into was a video talking about the rejection of good black men. And the videos I do that talk about that theme, those are the ones that get the most attention. But see, the so-called people who want to say, well, brothers need to be marrying these women. Well, they can't marry if a woman going to look at you and say you corny or you short or you too dark skinned. Yeah, because women say that. All that stuff about chocolate brothers, that really just mean that dude need to be like a real fine chocolate brother. All right? Or, you know what? Or you too light skinned. I mean, damn. Damn. I mean, come on, man. You hear more reasons why a sister don't want to get with it. And in fact, I remember that book, Waiting to Exhale, back in like 1992, 94 and all of that. There was a whole page where they were saying all this stuff about black men. A whole page. And they were just throwing out stuff. The characters were. But sisters were co-signing. So you saying to these men who black women are rejecting constantly for bullshit ass reasons. And yes, it's bullshit ass reasons. Anybody who can't acknowledge that is either lying or stupid. Yeah, I said it. And I'm right here, motherfuckers. Seriously, it's either lying or stupid. If you can't acknowledge that, it's like, look, I can't tell a brother he need to marry a sister and these sisters rejecting him. I'm like, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Because sometimes these people so busy trying to pander to one half of the community, they forget that the other half that's being shitted on are still human and still want companionship. Now, when the day comes when black women are rejecting black men based on character issues and purpose issues, and not because he's driving a Honda when she wants a guy with a Mercedes, then there's room to talk. And until that's brought into the conversation, until that rejection modality is brought into the conversation, everything is bullshit. And we gotta be real. See, I'm out here for real. See, unlike some of the people who, they go on TV or they go on videos trying to speak, I'm out here. I actually talk to these dudes, and I've been talking to them. I get out here and I talk to regular dudes, and I do it with the cameras off. And I'm doing it when women ain't around where they don't have to impress. And this is what they saying. That's why I wrote my books. Because men were going through some stuff. And until that's part of the conversation, until the real conversation is not why brothers are not committing to these women, but why women rejecting men who want to commit to them, the conversation is bullshit. It's some straight bullshit. And I challenge anybody to refute anything I say. You can come on here. You can refute it. Try to refute it. Because you know I'm right. You know I'm right. So don't tell some guys he should be loyal to some women who ain't loyal to him. It don't work that way. I'll never tell him that. I'll never tell some dude who tell me he's been rejected by sisters. And sisters know I love him. But see, the thing is, they're going to treat me different from the rest of the population. And that's always the case. But I got to be worried about my brothers. I got to worry about it. People say, I can be for myself. But no, I can't do that, man. I can't do that. Because what happens when one of these sisters out here tells my son who's in, who aspires to like computer program, who likes playing video games, who really doesn't care anything about swag. What happens when one of them tell them, oh, you don't have swag or you don't have any tats? Which I hope never happens, because I would tell him how to put some buttons in her that will fuck her head up if that's my son. Y'all don't know what I don't tell y'all. But that's just me. I get vicious when it's my family. So, I'm doing this shit for him, guys like him. My youngest son, I don't have to worry about it. He'd probably be a pimp. But, I gotta do this, man. Because I don't have to. I do not have to. I could probably make more money telling women just what they want to hear. But what about these guys? These guys who want to marry, nobody's standing up for them. Look, that's it, because I'm about to go into a full-blown rant. If we're going to have these conversations, we got to talk about everything. I'll put it like that. All right? And see, that's still not a major conversation. How these women are rejecting the men who, then they reject the men, then complain the men don't want them. How stupid is that? That's what killed me. They reject these men left and right. Tell them they call them ugly, call them short. Tell them their complexion ain't right. But then have the nerve to get mad when the same men don't want them. That's some little stupid ass shit. Look, that's it. I'm about to see another side of wrong. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.